Hi everyone, welcome to the HR Made Easy with Trello webinar. My name is Brian Servino. I am the Community Manager at Trello, and today I'm joined by our support specialist, Michelle Earhart. So the goal of this webinar is to introduce 6 Trello boards that HR teams can utilize for each step of the process for hiring, onboarding, and maintaining a great company culture. So during this webinar, I'll be going over the setup and workflows for the following boards: the People Team Board, Recruiting Pipeline, the Interview Pipeline, New Employee Onboarding, Employee Manual, and the Social Committee. After the presentation, I'll be glad to answer any questions about these boards and how you can customize them for your team's unique needs. If you have any questions, please type them into the GoToWebinar question box, and I'll be addressing as many as possible during the time allotted with help from Michelle. You can also email any questions to support@trello.com, and our support team will be glad to answer any questions that you have. I want to let you know that I will be recording today's webinar and will email a copy of the recording to all attendees. And there's also a handout available in the handouts section of the GoToWebinar box that has links to all of the boards discussed, as well as workflow summaries. And finally, I would like to give a really big shout out to our VP of People, Trello, Liz Hall, who is the one that developed these boards that we use internally ourselves at Trello. So let's get started. So the first board I want to share is the People Team board, which is a high-level board that acts as a repository for all HR-related boards, Slack channels, important HR-related websites, and essential readings. And so this board is really useful for not only the People team, but anyone at Trello that is looking to get some insight into our recruiting pipeline or looking to connect with the team. Also, anyone that gets added to our HR team can onboard with ease by having the resources necessary with this board. So the first list on this board has all the essential team boards in one easy to access location. And we link to each board within each board's respective card. So I'm going to go over each of the boards in detail during this webinar, but I want to quickly demonstrate just a neat little feature that when you copy a link to a Trello board into a card description, comment, or checklist, it's automatically formatted as a nice clickable link. But like I said, I'll be going over each one of these boards in detail. So the next list is a resource for non-board team assets, such as a quick link to our jobs page and our recruiting team Slack channel. And so when interviews are happening, whoever's involved in the interview process that day is often in the recruiting Slack channel, communicating with our HR team and making sure everything is on schedule. And just a quick note here, these links are formatted with Markdown, which allows you to add various formatting features to descriptions, comments, and checklist items. And so for more information about Markdown formatting, you can always click this formatting help link when a card's description is in edit mode to learn more about how you can format your cards to include links and stuff. So the next list here is for any upcoming HR conferences and recruiting events that the team is going to be attending. And finally, we have a lot of lists for essential readings that all new HR hires are expected to read, as they help to illustrate and define our company culture and hiring policies. Plus, these lists also act as a handy repository of information for anyone on the team that is kind of looking for a refresher about our policies and what makes our HR team unique. We had a little review and blurb about each article and a link in the card's description. And so you can even encourage members of your team to leave their thoughts and feedback as comments on the card. So I can just quickly enter a comment here. Share with my team maybe some ideas I learned from the article or takeaways that we could apply, in our own company. So anyway, if you're interested in all of these great resources on this board, a copy of the board is publicly available. And as I said, the link for that board is available in the handout provided with this webinar. So you can feel free to make use of the readings that our VP of People, Liz Hall, spent a good time collecting. As you can see, there's a ton of great resources here for anyone that's interested in HR, recruiting, and company culture. So next board is the recruiting pipeline. The recruiting pipeline board gives a quick visual overview of the status of various positions at the company, displaying projected future needs, what's on hold, what needs to be posted, and what jobs are open and what positions are closed. And so this quick overview is helpful for anyone at the company to see what our current and projected needs are, which makes it easier for them to help get involved in the recruiting process by being able to share open positions with friends, family, and professional connections, and hopefully getting the HR team some good leads for projected openings. So job descriptions can be attached to the card from either your local drive or through many cloud storage options. We attach job documents via Google Drive. And so with the Google Drive Power Up for Business Class enabled, you get additional features such as you can see when the document was created, when it was last edited and by whom. And it's also easy to hop right into a Google Doc from my board, right from the card, to either leave comments or feedback about the job description or just to read it and see if this applies maybe to anyone I know. Also, whichever recruiter is responsible for filling the position can be added to the card so that other team members will know who to reach out to with candidate leads or questions. So I can click the members button and add my team member to the board to the card, since she's going to be the one that's going to be recruiting for this position. When we need to post it, you can just drag this card over needs to post, and whoever's in charge of that will be able to add that to our jobs website and also any additional resources we use for posting jobs. So cards can be moved through the pipeline until the position is filled. It's also possible that you might have multiple openings for a role, such as an account manager. And so you can easily copy cards so that you have an accurate account of exactly how many roles need to be filled. So for instance, for the account manager card, if we're going to need to hire 2, I can hit copy, make a little note that this is for the second position. I can keep this member on the card since he's going to be the one responsible for filling the role. Keep it on this board and this list, and I could choose the position on the list that we're going to create the card. And simply copy this. Now, as you can see, there are now 2 account manager cards. This way we know that we're looking to hire 2 in this position. So another quick tip is if you are doing the recruiting on this board and you want to see all of the positions that are assigned to you or anyone else on your team, you can filter for just your cards in the sidebar of the board by clicking Filter Cards. And I can either click for all my assigned cards or anyone else on my team and just see where their positions are in the pipeline to filling those needs. So once a position is posted and the applications start coming in, it's time to start to get the interview process underway. So the interview pipeline board is for anyone on your recruiting team as well as anyone at the company that is involved in the interview process. This board allows you to lay out the interview process for each position and manage it and manage applicants as they go through the interview pipeline. So the first list on this board explains the interview process for each position. As you can see, each person that is involved with each step of the interview process is listed, as well as what they might be covering in the interview. Now, because some of the information on these cards would expose a little too much about our interview process, I scrubbed some of that data. But as you can see, for more technical developer positions, there are code screens and more hands-on projects involved. So we also use a label for each open position and apply that label to every candidate that is applying for that position as well. And this allows anyone to quickly surface, anyone who is applying for any role at the company. So for instance, going back to our filter, I can easily filter and see who's applying for our strategic account executive position by just filtering for those cards and seeing who's in the interview process, who we're making decisions on and if any offers have been made. So when an applicant becomes a potential candidate, we start with a phone screen. So whoever is in charge of filling that role will create a new card on the phone screen list and add themselves to it. So I can create a card here. And Noah is applying for the strategic account executive role. So I can apply that label to this card. Also, I'm going to be the one helping to hire for this position. So I'm just going to take my avatar. I could just drag it right onto the card. And now I'm assigned to this card in case anyone needs to reference that later. Finally, I'm going to attach Noah's resume and cover letter to this card. So we use FogBugs internally to correspond with applicants and manage the communication process. And so FogBugs cases are associated with that applicant are added to the card. So I can just copy this link and click attachment, and I can either attach it here, and I could name this link and as you see now, it's available for anyone who's assigned to this case to access it. So I can simply click right here and go right to the FogBugs case. And this way, anyone that's involved can leave notes and feedback privately in the case in FogBugs, not necessarily on the Trello card. That's an additional benefit of linking to an external ticketing or case management tool, is that you can create an extra level of privacy and security by making sure that only the individuals that should have access to that recruiting information have access to those cases and, any submissions or data points from the applicants. So now if someone passes the phone screen, then their card is moved over to the interview list. At this point, everyone that's involved in the interview process is going to get added to the card. So I can add my teammates to the card. They're going to be interviewing. What I'm also going to do is add a due date to this card. Well, first of all, this will actually, by adding to the card, everyone will get notified that they are going to be a part of the interview process for this. And then I can add a due date to the card. One shortcut for doing so is to hit the D key on your keyboard. And now I can assign a due date for this interview. And this way, everyone that's on the card will get a notification 24 hours before the interview is scheduled so that they don't forget it. Because the last thing we'd want to do is miss out on an interview with a potentially great candidate. So this is also a great time to mention the calendar power-up, which can be enabled on your boards, giving you an overview of any cards with due dates in a calendar view. So simply click the power-ups, and the calendar comes with all boards, whether or not you have business class. And click Enable. And now up here, there's a link for the calendar. And so any cards with a due date on them are now visible in the calendar view. And I can access them right from the back of the calendar. I can also move cards around on the calendar. And as you see, the due date will be updated. Another neat feature about the calendar is that each calendar has a unique iCal feed, and this can be imported into any third-party calendar. So you just want to make sure that the iCalendar feed is enabled, and you can copy this link and paste it into your Google Calendar, your Apple Calendar, Outlook, etc. And this way, you can have any assigned interviews in your main day-to-day calendar that you use. So as you can see, cards progress down the pipeline, and any comments or documents can be attached to a card so that all the information regarding the candidate is stored and accessible in one location. For instance, drafts of offer letters can be attached to a card and collaborated in Google Drive together by the team. So that's basically sums up how we do our interview pipeline here at Trello. Once an offer has been accepted, it's time to bring your new hire onto your team. And so the next board I want to share is what we call the onboarding board, which is a great way to make the first day for any new hire as smooth as possible. And by creating a copyable template board that can be personalized for each new hire, you can provide a way to keep track of any first day or first week formalities, share any forms or documentation such as tax forms, and give the new hire a quick and handy company reference manual. So what I'm going to do right now is, as I said, this acts as a copyable template. So what I'm going to do right now is copy this board for our new hire, Amy. So the option to copy board is in the sidebar. If you click More, Copy Board. And I'm going to name this New Hire Onboarding Amy. I want to keep all the cards here. And I create this board. Since there are a lot of cards, it'll take a moment to copy. And then what I can do is add to this board our new hire, Amy. And I can add any managers or anyone from our HR team that's helping out. You might want to at this point also make the board private so that only the members of the board can view this board. So to do that, I click up here and I click private. And now I can assign people the cards accordingly. So manager is going to reach out. I want to make sure that Amy is aware of these forms to sign and enroll in. And also Priscilla, who's working in HR, it's important that she's verifies that these important forms get filled out as well. Maybe I'm going to add someone from my IT team to help out with some training. And so what we do here is we kind of break down the onboarding process into its individual steps. And we have a card for each step. And this way we have checklists. So this way the manager can make sure exactly the new hire is on board and aware of what's going on the first day, and is all ready on that first day to come in and get going with the team. And of course, some things can even be accomplished before your new hire starts. And so before this first day list, we could break up those tasks accordingly. So in our case, we have a list for before someone starts here, and then a list for the first day and the first week tasks. And so your new hire can accomplish these tasks and then move each card to the done list as they complete those tasks. So when everything's enrolled in, and Amy attaches the forms or uploads them to Drive, however you handle your documentation, Amy can just move this card over to done. And this way, Priscilla and our HR team is aware that Amy has filled out these forms and will know to get them in the proper location. It's just really important way to have an overview so that, nothing really important, like say maybe signing up for health insurance, falls through the cracks. So other lists on the board help answer some common questions that a new hire might have, such as, what kind of equipment you can request to help you get your work done, or any other awesome little perks that'll make your day-to-day work that much better. Another list is who to contact with any specific questions about any topic. If your office is really too hot or expensing. Just really making it really easy access, searchable location for any of those, those first day, first month kind of onboarding questions that a new hire might have. We also have a little bit of information history about our company culture, and potentially most conveniently is a who's who list of fellow employees. And so this includes a little blurb from each person, as well as their name and a picture. And I'm sure we've all been led through an office on our first day and been introduced to like 50 new faces all at once. And so now new hires can more discreetly go back and put Becky or Bradley's name to their face. Finally, we always encourage to collect feedback from new hires about the onboarding process and how the board helped them or could be improved. And so we use this information to reprioritize cards by dragging and dropping them to change the location on the list or make changes that will help improve the onboarding process for future hires. So maybe if everyone's really interested about their desks and chairs, we can move that to the top. People love getting swag when they start a job, so maybe people ask about that a lot. So we can just move these cards around and prioritize, what's most important to our new hires. Another essential board for any new hire or for anyone that's just at your company in general is the employee manual. So creating an employee manual on a Trello board is a simple, visual, easy to update, easy to search, and accessible from anywhere resource. And this is valuable not only for new hires, but really for anyone at your company because it's a repository of all the information, important company policies, forms, and documents. So lists can be broken down into whatever makes sense for your company, such as benefits, policies, and perks. And cards can easily be rearranged to draw attention to more important topics. So let me go over how we have set ours up. And this is an actual copy of our real employee manual, though. We have scrubbed some information from it. So the first most important card is the Read on Your First Day card. And this card links to all the most important cards on the board so that they're not missed, as well as any other important information that we want to reinforce on day one that may have already been covered on the onboarding board, but we want to really make sure that it gets covered. A quick note is, as you can see, we link directly to other cards here, and it's easy to link to another Trello card by simply copying and pasting the link into that card into the card's description. Just like a board. So let me go show you real quick. If you ever want to link to a card, you can just do it right like that, and it opens up in the other card that was linked to. Just a cool little tip. Anyway, our employee manual has a list for all the company's benefits, and each topic has its own card. On each card, we use the description to link any related websites and attach any forms, such as health insurance forms, to the card as well. So you can go, we store our files in Drive just because they're accessible anywhere. So we use the Google Drive power-up to attach cards and documents in Drive, and this way anyone can access them anywhere, such as our health benefits info, which might be handy when you're at the doctor or making an appointment. The next list covers everything one might have to ask about vacation policies, sick leave, etc. And this actually came in handy for me recently when I was on jury duty and had to fill out some forms. And one of the questions about getting paid by your company during jury duty, and I was able to access this board from my phone and quickly get the necessary information, which is way better than having some printout filed away in the depths of my filing cabinet. So the next list covers items like conference budgets and travel guidelines, since everyone at Trello is allowed to attend relevant conferences, and there's often the need to travel for work-related matters. Since our company is half located in our New York headquarters and half remote, we have separate lists explaining the various perks that both headquarters and remote employees can enjoy, and answer some common questions about either, such as getting your free Metro card for anyone that works in our New York City headquarters monthly, or information about biking to work. Unfortunately, no cats allowed in the office. Finally, we just like to have another list in case anyone scrolls through the board really fast that has, once again, lots of important information and any important topics that we want to reinforce and readdress. So the last board I want to share is a newer board for us, but it's something that we're really excited about because we truly believe in building an awesome company culture at Trello. And it's this social committee board, which allows teams to organize fun events for both remote and headquarter employees. Anyone's allowed to create an event. So this board starts out with a list explaining what the goals of the board are and the process for creating team events. Now, I want to say that creating an about list or how to use this board list is a great way to give an overview of a board's workflow and intent for any first-time viewers, and always makes a handy reference for anyone that needs a refresher on a policy or process. So for instance, we spell out how you can join an event, if you want to plan an event, and of course some best practices for making successful events. So the next lists are pretty self-explanatory, such as what's being planned, what's coming up, and the fun that's been had. So if someone is planning an event, they should add themselves to that card and any related boards, Slack channels, or details about the event. So for instance, the company book club has a Trello board where people can discuss, suggest the upcoming books to read, and also discuss books. And actually, this can act as almost like a remote book club, so anyone at Trello can join. And then they can have conversations in Slack or have a video chat hangout, which is pretty exciting. So if someone wants to join an event, they can simply just add themselves right to a card. So I can just drag myself right to the card if I want to join the morning coffee club. And this way, you the organizer can have a head count on who's attending. And so a couple quick tips on this. First, you want to make sure that your board is probably team visible. A board like this, if you're going to want everyone in your company to get involved in, you can make sure it's team visible. And you can make sure it's team visible by selecting Team from this menu or in the board settings. You want to also make sure that you can allow team members to join. This way, anyone can easily get involved with the board. The next little tip that might be useful is every board has an invite link. So what you can do is this invite link could be copied and pasted, maybe right into a company-wide email or a company chat room. And you could spread the word about the board with everyone at the company, and then anyone can join and join events. And really, you could do this with any of your boards that you'd like your entire company to get involved in, whether it's town hall meetings or maybe planning a company retreat. You could just copy this link. Let me create a new tab here. And anyone can just join the board. As you see, I'm already a member of the board, so. Finally, we love sharing the fun that we've had as a team, and we encourage everyone to attach pictures to cards. You can do so either by attaching through the attachment button and selecting a file from your computer, from Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, or by attaching a link. But what's also really convenient is anyone can also just simply drag and drop a file right into a card. And this is going to just upload. Looks like I'm having a little bit of slow connection today. Or it just doesn't want to upload. Oh, I think my webinar bandwidth is taking up a lot. Oh, there we go. Just took a second because of this webinar bandwidth. As you can see, I can attach pictures right to the card. And as you can see, some of these are card covers. If you want to change the card cover, just right here, select Make Cover. And that's really fun. And then what we could do is then our HR team likes to share these pictures on our Trello Instagram account because this works as a great platform for potential applicants and candidates to learn more about our company culture and see all the crazy things that we get up to. So that wraps up my basic presentation on how Trello can help make HR easier for your team. I just want to share a couple quick links with you before I get the Q&A session going. Trello.com/business-class if you're interested for your team and getting all the cool power-ups and features that come with business class. I recommend checking that out. We also have a blog that covers a lot of productivity, new features, what's going on with Trello, workflows and different boards. That is a really great resource. And if you want to see how other people are using Trello at other companies or get some templates for boards that are copyable, check out trello.com/inspiration. And as you can see, we have lots of different boards. And you can simply open any board And if you want to create a template out of it, you can just copy that board. Decide if you want to keep the cards or just the lists. And then you can have your own board template to use. So with that, I want to get the Q&A session going. And first off, I want to focus on any questions about the boards. So if you have any questions, please enter them into the GoToWebinar box, and I'll make sure to address as many as possible in the time remaining. But if you have to leave the webinar now and have any questions, or if you'd rather ask your questions in private, feel free to email us at support@trello.com, and we'll be glad to answer them for you. So thanks to everyone for attending, and once again, feel free to enter any questions you have into the GoToWebinar box, and we'll begin the Q&A session. All right, it looks like Michelle is telling me that there's not that many questions, which is great. I guess that means this webinar was really informative. Let's see. There's someone did ask, can I message all members of a board at once? Great question. Let's say in this instance, I'm doing an interview and I'm done, and I want to notify everyone else on the board that the interview is done. What I can do is I can do @card. And then I can just say, my interview's done. Now everyone on the card will get notified that the interview has been completed. As far as you can do the same for boards. So let's say we made an offer to Corey, and we like to get we get very excited when someone accepts a position here. So maybe I want to let everyone on the board know that Corey accepted the offer. We'll start May 1st. And this way, everyone on the board will get notified as well. So just @card and @board. Let's see. How do you name a label color? Oh, great. So there's a couple ways to do that. One is you can go in the sidebar and you can edit any label name by clicking this little icon and clicking save. I can also create a new label, select the color I want. You can use gray if you kind of want to use a label more as a tag. This won't show up on the front of the card, but it is searchable and filterable. So if I want to create, let's just say this label, and support. As you can see, it doesn't show. It shows up here, but if I add that label to a card, it'll show up on the back of a card, but it doesn't show up on the front. And this is just kind of maybe an easier way to create like a tagging system that won't, if you have a lot of tags, maybe you want to apply to cards, but you don't want to clutter, the front of your card with all those tags. But you'd still like to filter by those tags. You can do so. Let's see. Oh, someone said it looks like we got some pretty awesome perks here at Trello. That is true, and we are actually hiring. I will say that. Trello.com/jobs. If you know any people that do anything, if you know any people that might be a good fit here, feel free to pass along some of these open positions. We'd love to have you on our team. Let's see. Someone asks, where do you go to look at how other people are using Trello, borrowing templates, etc.? Oh, I hope you're maybe referring to this Trello.com/inspiration that I showed before. Let me put a link to that in our chat. I'm also going to include the links to the blog. This is in the chat window in business class. So yeah, the inspiration page is where you can, and this is searchable, and there's also a ton of tags down here. So depending on, if you just want to search by tags, small businesses, etc. It's a great resource. Let's see, someone says, I want to hide my old projects, but I'm afraid to archive them. If I do archive them, can I still go into them and review them? What changes? Oh yeah, so let me, just for example, I'll archive, maybe I'm going to archive this new hiring board. So if you archive a board, aka close a board, as you can see, this board is closed. You can reopen it at any time. If you have the link, it'd come here and you click reopen, and your board's going to be in the exact same state as you left it. Another way to access your closed boards is to click this boards button up here. You can go to your boards menu and see closed boards. Probably a lot of closed boards. Nope. And then you can reopen any board from here. Just remember though, to reopen a board, you have to be an admin of that board. But I can reopen the board. And like I said, there's no data lost. We don't destroy or delete any old archived boards. Any other questions or? Let's see. Okay, we've got just a couple more questions coming in. Michelle asks, what is the limit of boards that can be created? There's actually no limit of the amount of boards that can be created. With a free account or a paid account, you can create as many boards as you like for yourself personally or for your team. There's no also real limit on the amount of cards you could create on a board, but I will say that if you create a board that has maybe over 500 or 1,000 cards on it, you might see some slowness in performance. So best to archive cards that you're not using anymore. For instance, just to show you, to archive a card, you just open a card and click archive. And of course, archive cards are never completely lost. You can always go to the archived items in your sidebar, and you can view an archived card. And you can always send it right back to the board. The same applies to archiving lists. You can always send a list right back to the board as well. Let's see, someone else. So can you add an external person to board on the onboarding board? There's a list before your first day. So there's actually two ways to go about adding someone who's not yet a part of your team, your Trello team, to a board. The first thing is if someone is, say, a new hire, what you can do is you can just, for example, new hire at Trello.com. Let's say in this situation, we've created a Trello email address for them already. I can just enter their email address, change their name, and I can invite them to the board. And now when they sign up for Trello, they will be able to access this board that I've been invited to. As you see right now, they're a virtual member, so that means they haven't created their Trello account. If you ever want to actually invite someone to a board because you'd want them to be able to see a board but not actually not actually make any changes to the board or edit the board, you can, with Trello Business Class, you can add someone as an observer. This is really handy if maybe you're working with clients and you'd like to share the progress of a board and maybe get some feedback, but you don't want them moving cards around or changing due dates, etc. So maybe I could do add my client at somecompany.com. Oh, that exists. Client 1234 at somecompany.com. And if you have business class, you can click include this member as a view-only observer and send. And this way, when this person creates their Trello account, all they'll be able to do is actually view the cards on the board, and they could open them, and if you give the observers permission to comment, They can leave comments on cards, but that's the extent of their permissions. So those are two ways that you can add external people to a Trello board with different permission levels, depending on kind of what you're looking to do, whether it's invite someone to participate in a board or to invite someone to just kind of view a board. Let's see, any more questions? This looks like about it. I want to thank everyone for coming out today to this webinar. As I said, have been recording this webinar. So I'll be sending out a copy of the recording and also a link to the handout in case you missed it tomorrow. And you can feel free to share this with anyone in your company. And if you have any questions, come up, feel free to always reach out to us at support@trello.com. Really want to thank Michelle also for helping out today. And hope everyone has a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. So thank you.